Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to this meeting of the Boston Art Commission. My name is Alexandra Palzotov, and I'm the Public Art Registrar in the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture. In that capacity, I'm also the administrator of the Boston Art Commission. Let's just take a moment to update our names and our pronouns, as well as make sure we are all muted. In accordance with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, we are conducting this meeting virtually. As a reminder, this has been extended until 2026. To ensure that public access to the deliberations of the Boston Art Commission, the public can join this meeting through telephone and video conferencing. This meeting is being recorded and closed captioning is available. You may access this at the bottom of your screen. If you're having any trouble locating this button, please chat us for assistance.
Thank you. The Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture and the Boston Art Commission believe that public art is any artwork installed in publicly accessible spaces where they can be experienced by anyone for free. For transparency and community input, artworks proposed for City of Boston property are reviewed and discussed at these public meetings of the Boston Art Commission on a regular and usually monthly basis. Working together with the Public Art Team and the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture, the BAC is an independent board composed of 2 ex officio and 7 volunteer community members appointed by the mayor. The BAC has exclusive authority to approve and commission artworks intended to be added to the city's collection or be placed on city property. We're very happy to share that we have 3 new commissioners joining us today. Let's take a moment to welcome them and listen as they introduce themselves. Commissioners, could you please take a moment to share a little bit about yourselves, and we can start with Ian.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ian Altavere. I am the Museum of Fine Arts Boston's Beale Family Chair of the Department of Contemporary Art. I moved to Boston 2 years ago to take this role. Before this, I was the Aaron I. Fleischman Curator of Modern and Contemporary Art at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. Here in Boston, I have just opened a survey of the great American sculptor Martin Puryear, which I hope you will all have the chance to see in the coming months.
I
Yeah.
take that as my key to step forward. Yes, my name is Napoleon Jones Henderson, and I have, differently than Ian, I've been here for 51 years, and so we had some catching up to do. But I've lived here in my studio home space for all of those years and have had the privilege of hosting and having collaborations with many artists, locally and nationally and internationally for that matter, here at my home, and with a great number of just everyday citizens who have been briefly exposed to and educated about art as a essential part of life. And that, granted, art is most often seen in a kind of mythological kind of format that as they visited and spent time with me, I found out that it really isn't a myth. It's a very real thing. So, because I'm here breathing and functioning and have had quite a experience with many different institutions and organizations throughout the metropolitan Boston area for all these years. And I'm very pleased to be a part of this collaborative group here, Boston Arts Commission.
Thank you, Napoleon. Hello, everybody. Can you see me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, you can. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Sorry. I'm Caitlin Lowry. I'm the Director of Exhibitions at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. I've been there just about 4 years. Before that, I was up at the PBD Essex Museum for about a decade. Very, very excited to be here, very honored. I'm excited to listen and learn from a lot of you. This is an incredible post, and just feel really happy to be here. Currently installing, I had to rush out of the gallery to make it to this meeting, installing an exhibition featuring Alan Rohan Crite, who is an incredible Boston artist who has not been given his moment in the sun, and we're very excited to celebrate him and the city of Boston. That's opening next week. So I hope that you all come and visit and see that show as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Ian, Napoleon, and Caitlin. We're so happy to have you here with us. And hopefully commissioners will get to connect more going forward. But I think to a point made early by Abigail, maybe when we're going through check-in, maybe we can do a little bit more of an introduction. John, I don't know if you would feel like we have time for that, but that we could make sure everyone else gets to be known by the new commissioners as well. And then I just want to take a moment and give thanks to Brian Hone, who has cycled off the commission. He joined us initially through the Gardner and, served in that capacity, Caitlin, until you joined. But, he left the Gardner and was at Mass Art and really kept his commitment to us in that new institution. So we've been so grateful to his really, detail-oriented service on the commission. He was really thoughtful, really caring. I saw him, at so many openings over the years, and he was so present with the artists and community members. So I don't know that Brian's here, but I do want to, share some real gratitude for him and just feeling very lucky that I got to know him as a member of our arts community here. Oh, and Brian, you are here. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, such a pleasure working on the commission and excited to see this next chapter.
Yeah. And now we'll share a little bit about the team here. We facilitate the Art Commission's public meetings and then also manage all phases, daily operations and duties related to public art projects cited on or proposed for City of Boston property in collaboration with the Commission, other community members, and colleagues at the City of Boston. If anyone here wants to reach out to us, please send us questions or comments at bac@boston.gov, and we will put that in the chat. And you can see our team members here. And you can also see our consultant and with that, I will pass to Chair Andress to do roll call.
Thanks so much, Karen, and welcome everyone. I call this public hearing to order at 4:39 p.m. And today the commission is holding its monthly public meeting, which are generally held on the second Tuesday of every month. And I hope you'll continue to join us. Before I continue, I did want to thank Brian personally as well. It was such an honor to work alongside him here at the commission, and I know the other commissioners are so grateful for your thoughtfulness, your probing questions, and your advocacy for artists and art in Boston. So Brian, from the commission, thank you so much for all of your work. Here at the Boston Art Commission, we engage in discussions about public art in Boston in order to foster the creation and collection of artworks that reflect the people, ideas, histories, and futures of Boston, which is located on the traditional homeland of the Massachusetts people and the neighboring Wampanoag and Nipmuc peoples. We acknowledge the atrocities committed against Indigenous peoples, all of the communities that have been subsequently harmed, and the ways in which colonialism has created systemic oppression. We recognize the continuing presence of these communities and the Indigenous peoples represented in the city's residents, in addition to those in the diaspora. We also recognize that Boston exists as a result of the forced labor and economic extraction from enslaved African Americans. Now I'll take roll call of commissioners to confirm a quorum. After I state your name, Commissioner, please say here. I begin with Vice Chair James Mason.
Here.
Ian Altivier.
Here.
Diana Fernandez-Bibo. I didn't see her. I know that Nigel isn't here. Napoleon Jones-Henderson.
Here.
Caitlin Lowry.
Here.
Kenny Mascari is not able to come tonight. And Abigail Norman.
Here.
On this slide, you'll see today's agenda, which is also posted publicly on the city's website, boston.gov. Now we'll take a few minutes to review last month's meeting minutes. I'm curious if any commissioners have any comments or modifications they'd like to make. Hearing none, I wonder if any commissioner would like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
So moved.
Thanks, Ian. Could I have a second?
Second.
Thanks so much, Napoleon. Commissioners, after I say your name, please say yes if you approve of the motion. James,
Yes.
Ian,
Yes.
Napoleon,
Yes.
Caitlin,
Yes.
and Abigail.
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. The motion passes. Thanks so much. And I'd like to go back briefly, as Karen suggested, introductions for the other commissioners so we can all familiarize ourselves with each other. When I say your name, Commissioner, could you just give a brief introduction of who you are and your role? We'll keep it as short as we can, but I think it would be helpful. So James, I start with you.
Yeah, thanks for starting with me. So it will be really brief. I am currently the Associate Provost at Mass Art, as well as an alum. So my connection to the art field has been my over 40 years of being in Boston. I'll start there.
Thanks, James. Abigail, I pass to you.
I'm Abigail Norman. I'm proud alum of Mass Art as well. James, I was for many years the director of the Elliott School of Fine and Applied Arts, a craft school here in Boston for people outside of school and outside of work time. And I currently am a volunteer on the executive team at Black History in Action in Cambridge. I'm pleased to be here with you.
Thanks so much, Abigail. And I am John Andrus. I'm the Bill T. Jones Director and Curator of Performing Arts here at the Institute of Contemporary Art, where we just opened a major exhibition of Indigenous art called An Indigenous Present. And it's been really exciting and wonderful. I've lived in Boston for over 20 years and been at the ICA for almost 18. So a long tenure. I'm so thrilled, Ian, Napoleon, and Caitlin, to join you here on this commission and work together to realize just really amazing projects and steward artists and helping realize their visions here at the commission. So thank you so much for agreeing to join us. And now I'll pass to Karen Goodfellow, who will highlight presentations for public review and give her director's report.
Thank you, Chair Andres. So we have two presentations for review today. The first is Together We Care and Create. There's a long-term mural, which is a part of the Canvas of Culture initiative, and it's here for accessioning. This mural is in West Roxbury at an elementary school by artist Sabrina Dorsainvil. Paul Zotov, our public art registrar, will be presenting that to you. We also have a presentation for informational review. Now, this one will not require a vote, but we invited them here to increase transparency with work going into publicly accessible space, although it is private property. And this is the Jack Connors Memorial Sculpture, which is here as a final design, and that will be at the Plaza at 200 Clarendon in Back Bay. And this is a sculpture by Pablo Eduardo. And we'll be having the presentation by Michael K. Vaughan, Joseph Nolan, and the Connors family. We also are really excited to share some project updates. On September 28th, the installation of the DeWitt Playground at Madison Park was celebrated with a ribbon cutting and community programming. Interim Commissioner of Parks and Recreation, Kathy Baker Eclipse, and myself offered opening remarks, and the project team, including members of Studio Luz, architects and artist Marlon Forrester, and Senior Public Art Project Manager Birgit Worster, took part in a panel conversation on the court as canvas. Artist Marlon Forrester marked the occasion with a participatory performance entitled Passing Migration, and the event finished with a youth basketball activation surrounded by the project components, which were Agora 23, the painted sidelines, which you can see throughout these, but in particular on the right, shaded canopies, which are the red structures that you see, and the Mirror of History, which you can see on sort of the bottom center photo. And this project is scheduled to be presented to the BAC for accessioning in November. The installation of call and response rating safety by Lamarche Fraser at Engine 42 in Eggleston is almost complete. The artwork was installed by Matt Coenster from Bob's Welding earlier this month, the same metal worker that fabricated Marlon Forster's artwork for DeWitt Playground. The lighting will be installed in coming weeks. We'd like to thank the city's facilities department and fire department for all their support with site preparation and for welcoming the artwork with excitement. And you can see it being installed there, and that is the artist in the lower left, Lamarche Fraser, and you might know her for her fiber works and work in education and history. Two Canvas of Culture murals are currently being installed at the Carter School. Lior's Garden Energy by Cyril Conan and Carter's Pride by Ernesto Maranje. The artists intend to present both of these projects for accessioning at next month's BAC meeting. A two-panel mural installation by Canvas of Culture artist David Zayas, and you can see the installation photos here, is underway at the newly renovated Sarah Roberts School in Rosendale. This work is also anticipated to return to the BAC for accessioning next month. Amulet by Ria Vedro is scheduled to be installed at City Hall Plaza later this month. This is the inaugural City Hall Plaza sculpture program work and will be located near the Hanover Street entrance opposite the playground on the plaza. Artist Wen T. Sen is currently visiting the foundry where his worker statues in Chinatown figures are to be cast. He will inspect the molds and review the fabrication process while on site. Senior Project Manager Birgit Worster and I visited Wen T. in his studio last month to discuss installation of the worker statues planned for the summer of 2026. Adam Frank is currently working with the Parks Department to test lighting and determine the compatibility of the selected projector for his piece in Copley Square. Motion sensors should be fully functioning within a month. We also have concluded our work with conservator Rika Smith, and Tori Fair has revised the design twice since the BAC, and you can see her flower pieces on the screen. And we're now working with Registrar Paul Zotov and Daedalus, our conservator, on a final design review to ensure that the artwork is suitable for the public. Sasaki, the architects of the project, they've also been tapped to support with site selection and design consultation services for the poetry and pavers. And as a reminder, the poetry is a poem written by Danielle Legros-Georges. Lastly, Priscilla de Carvalho has submitted final design documents for 3 installations at the Adams Street Library. We'll be working with the BPL in coming weeks to determine the installation schedule and site prep needs. We anticipate presenting to the Commission before the end of the year so the artists can begin fabrication and install the work by spring of 2026. And here we have, just to keep you in the loop of where unmonument projects are, we have a list of projects and their different phases here. So just wanted to share where we are on those projects. They are all very much in process, and they have various updates, which we could spend a lot of time in, but did want to just make sure we were sharing and staying transparent on these projects. So these include All for Love, a mural by Ricardo Gomez, Steam 5, which will be going on the Roxbury branch of the Boston Public Library, Cabin in the Sky by Ife Franklin in Franklin Park, Caminantes Wayfarers, which is still being cited, but we're looking at East Boston for Salvador Jimenez Flores' piece, The Democratization of Art by Stephen Peters, Love Letters to Malcolm, which is an augmented reality project with Lamarche Fraser and Hakeem Rakib, Interwoven Histories, which is another augmented reality project, which will have multiple locations with Nida Mordapur, Asdaj Tajpour, and Rasheen Fahandej. We're working with artist Aqua Holmes and the folks at the Cedar Grove Cemetery, which is a private property for sidewalk stories honoring the women of the Home for Aged Colored Women. And additionally with that, we're working with the Boston Women Heritage Trail. The busing boycott 50 years later is moving forward with Daphne Shu. And there will be an installation on the Greenway starting, I think, this February. A project inspired by a People's Monument by Cedric Douglas is moving ahead. We had a really exciting meeting with the fabricators this morning. You can see a rendering, the second image down there, of his work, which will feature a 3D printed version of Emancipation Group that he will then speak to people about to get their thoughts on what might replace the statue. Undocumented monuments, Studio Lenka. We spoke to the artist team this morning about a visit they're doing in November to start planning for these beautiful installations. We are going to be looking for, I think, 4 to 5 locations in public spaces for his works, these beautiful vessels that he makes from paper documents and blankets. And Untold Stories from the Old Corner bookstore by Joanne Kalionsis. And she's working with the history organization that owns that site. Waiting Shelter by Pat Falco and Melissa Tang, and Ways of My Ancestors, Lighting the Path to Awareness by Scott Foster, which we are hoping to have installed any time now. We're waiting on some final approvals. And we have some events coming up. The 4th installation of Audrey Watkins, Our Names Public Activations, is going to be happening in Mattapan. Audrey led versions of these on Newbury Street in Back Bay. And we also have the Plantable Closing celebration on October 18th. And that will be in Chinatown on the Greenway. And the Breathe Life mural unveiling on October 19th is coming up in Dorchester at the Epiphany School. And we're going to be having a walking tour with Roberto Mighty on October 21st. We were here too, and that are all some of the many events that we have coming on. So I hope this will help us to clarify. And as Paul mentioned, we're also really excited because we did finally get the calendar up on our website, which is seems like a small thing, but it was a big win for us. So thank you all.
Thanks so much, Karen. A lot of exciting updates. We'll now move on to the items on our agenda for review, public testimony, and commission vote. Here you can see how to participate in today's meeting. If you have technical difficulties, you can ask questions in the chat and a member of staff will help you. When public testimony is requested, you can press the raise your hand icon and we'll call on you. If you are calling in, press *9 to raise your hand. Now I'll pass to James.
Our goal is to make this meeting a good experience for all. Please remember to keep your comments on topic brief and respectful of others. You can submit longer written testimony at bac@boston.gov. If you're called on, please state your name, title, program, and organization if relevant.
Our first project for discussion is Together We Care and Create at the Beethoven Elementary School. Paul, I pass this to you to introduce.
Paul, you are muted.
Sorry, thank you all for joining me this afternoon as we welcome this mural into our collection. As you might remember, last August, Sabrina shared the final design for Together We Care and We Create, which celebrates the culture and heart of the Beethoven School community. This piece highlights the ways students learn with joy, play, inclusivity, explore creatively, and care for each other in both big and small ways. Creativity care comes in many forms, which might look like sharing paper in art class or helping a hurt classmate get the support they need. Creativity can be making art or solving math problems. In this piece, you'll see references to what students enjoy about their school experience and how they show up for each other. Students garden, create, read books, learn technology, visit the library, make music together, play outside, and more. Each piece shown sits between learning, curiosity, and how play happen over time. We hope that both the current and future students see themselves and their classmates in this piece. As well, there are a couple different Easter eggs based off of engagement sessions that are placed in the mural. Each of them will be added to the Beethoven School culture, strengthening the meaning of learning and joy together. And here it is. Here are a couple more detail shots. And just to remind people how we kind of actually got to the final context here, students, staff, and caregivers were convened in multiple sessions to build an additional context and understanding of the school, as well as more possibilities for what was actually going to be depicted on the mural. All participants were asked to write and share and discuss their reflections, ideas with key considerations for the piece. Then there was an additional session held with the group of first and second graders, and then separate sessions with kindergarten and K2 students. Each of the student sessions began with an open circle and an introduction to get to know each other and their classmates, as well as understand how they might describe their own school in their own words. Afterwards, students moved to an art classroom and began sketching out their actual ideas. This helped determine the other spots in the school that were also meaningful, such as the playground right here and the garden, which came up in a lot of the students' artworks themselves. And here's just some more about the maintenance plan, as well as additional references and cleaning instructions. And that is it.
Thanks so much, Paul. Commissioners, I now open it up to you with any comments or questions you may have about the mural. This is our final design and accessioning of the mural, so there may not be a ton of conversation since most of that has already happened. I'm sharing this for the new commissioners, but feel free to make any comments or questions as you'd like. I can say for myself that at this elementary school, I think the sort of vivid color palette and the sort of dynamic activities of the students hopefully will inspire other students to enjoy and take initiative to do some of the things that's depicted in the mural. So it's nice to see that incorporated and included. Anyone else? It's a quiet group today. I now open it up to any members of the public who'd like to make a comment or ask a question. Well, hearing none, would any commissioner like to make a motion to accession Together We Care and Create at the Beethoven Elementary School?
Yes, I would like to make that motion.
Thanks so much, Napoleon. Do I have a second?
Yes, I'm a second.
Thanks so much, James. Commissioners, after I state your name, please say yes if you support the motion. James,
Yes.
Ian,
Yes.
Napoleon,
Yes.
Caitlin,
Yes.
Abigail,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. Congratulations, Sabrina, and everyone at the Beethoven Elementary School. We're really happy and excited to welcome this mural into the Boston Public Art Collection. Congrats again. And I now pass to James.
Oh, I was getting ahead of you. Our last project for discussion will be introduced by Alexa Pinard, Assistant Deputy Director of Design Review at the City of Boston Planning Department. Alexa, I am passing this off to you.
And just really quickly, Anna, I see that you have your hand raised, and I also see that there are 3 of you. I've been emailing back and forth with Pablo. Are all 3 of you Pablo?
He's not known for scoring penalties. He's known for scoring quite.
I'm sorry, Anna, I can't hear you.
Are we having
Paul, maybe
slight technical difficulties? Anna, could you unmute and try saying something again? It was really garbled and we couldn't quite hear you.
Hi everyone, this is Anna from Rhodey Architects. Can you hear me fine?
Yes, but Paul, before you keep going super quickly, Paul, who is introducing this project?
It is Alexa, but unfortunately it doesn't seem as if Alexa is here.
Hi, I'm Michael Vaughn, Paul. I can introduce it if you'd like.
Yes. Okay, sorry. So there are just multiple Annas.
I think Alexa unfortunately is having technical difficulties.
Okay.
She just texted with me and she was having a hard time logging in.
Understood. So who am I going to be? I'm going to promote this Anna up into being a panelist, who's right here that I see you speaking. Is there any other account for folks on your team? I see that there's a Kevin. Should Kevin?
Yes, we want Kevin as well, please.
Excellent. Okay. Anybody else from your crew who needs to be a panelist?
Paul, is Rhodey Architects that one listed as a panelist?
I don't see anyone who is a Rhodey Architects at the moment in the waiting room or panelist.
That's fine. It sounds like I am. I thought I was under the Rhodey Architects account, but maybe I'm under Anna.
You are under Anna. Sorry, that's why I was asking because there were multiple lists of you. Okay, yep. I think we got everybody here.
Great.
In that case, how about I read for Alexa? Does that sound all right? Oh, I see Alexa coming in right now.
Is Alexa able to make the introduction, or if not, could someone else make it just so we can move along?
Yep, I'm just gonna do it. All right. Excellent. Well, thank you so much. I'm not Alexa, but I'm happy to introduce Alexa's framing of this project. So thank you so much. This is a project that has been raised by Alexa Pinard, Assistant Deputy Director of the Design Review at the City of Boston Planning Department, who is here tonight to frame the presentation you're about to see within the context of a larger conversation between the Planning Department and MOAC around the Planning Department's policies, process, and guidance when it comes to public art on privately owned buildings or sites. There's a long history in Boston of leveraging private development projects to create publicly accessible, privately owned spaces. These projects go through a rigorous public process. Public benefits such as open space are typically provided in exchange for additional height and density, and we want to encourage the inclusion of art within these spaces. In cooperation with MOAC, we're seeking to develop clear policy, processes, and guidance to support projects in the service of this. The project that you're about to see is part of this ongoing collaboration. So though it did not go through this exact process that we're developing with MOAC, we still felt it was important to share the proposal with you. The Planning Department looks forward to coming back in front of the Commission in the coming months once this is better formed. Thanks so much. And in that case, I'd like to pass it off to
I'll take it. Well, it's Michael Vaughn. I want to say thank you to everyone. I appreciate your time tonight. And everyone at the BPDA has been great and working with the staff. In Boston Public Arts Commission has been a good experience. So we're here tonight to honor Jack Connors, who was a really special Bostonian that impacted the lives of probably hundreds of thousands of Bostonians through his philanthropic and business efforts in the city. For a long time, Jack had an office in the Hancock building. And I'll step back a second. Jack unfortunately passed away last year, and we were all devastated. It's a huge loss for the city. For a long time, his office and his family office was atop the Hancock building. He hosted, charitable and political fundraisers up there for a range of causes, from presidential candidates to city council candidates, and to every charity in the city. His passion project that a lot of you are familiar with is Camp Harborview. So we wanted to do something to recognize Jack and his contributions and commitment to the city of Boston. And we were careful to pick a private property that he was closely associated with. So immediately we were drawn to the Hancock, where he had his office. That's him sitting in the Hancock right there. And anyone who got to know Jack would remember him, whether it was at the Hancock or outside of St. Ignatius Church on the campus of Boston College, or at the Sugar Bowl at Castle Island, sitting on a bench, and Jack just had an incredible gift to make whomever he was sitting with. You can see the picture in the bottom left of Jack and a young woman out at Camp Harborview, but whoever he was sitting with and chatting with at the time, making them feel like they were the most important person in the world, and he had a gift for doing that. So that's what we tried to incorporate with this. We're excited to move forward. We're grateful for our opportunity to work with the mayor and her office and the BPDA and now your office. And we're hoping to unveil this tribute to Jack later on this fall. So I want to hand it off to Anna and Kevin and the roadie team and Pablo, our sculptor. Thank you very much for having us tonight. Appreciate your time.
I just like to remind all proponents that we are running on a time limit here, so just to keep our conversation to about 5 minutes now.
Great, thank you, Paul, and thank you, Michael. Well, I recognize you guys can't see my video, but that's okay. I'm not sure how to turn that on. So as Michael indicated, this project is really looking to honor Jack Connors. It's at the site of the Hancock Tower at the Plaza, 200 Clarendon. And the main sculpture is going to be done by Pablo Eduardo. He's here to speak, but I'll just kind of say, he has quite a bit of prolific work around Boston, as well as at Boston College, and has had a connection with the Connors family and Jack Connors throughout his life. And so really it was kind of made a lot of sense for him to commission and work on, the sculpture of Jack sitting on a bench in an open and welcoming position, as he so often did in life. The benches are going to be as a nod to the benches that are throughout Boston College, a location that he's often sat after Mass on Sundays, open and welcoming, engaging with anyone that wanted to sit there. And, as his family and Michael and Joe Nolan often say, he had a gift of anyone that sat next to him. It really made it feel like anyone that was with him, it was all about them, and that he was there to help and listen to them. And so I think that, as you can see kind of in the mock-up of the sculpture here, it is really all about that embrace and that openness for the sculpture. The next slide. I don't know who's controlling slides. Yep, so this is just a little bit of more about Pablo. We're happy to answer more questions, but I won't get into it too much so that we can continue within the time limit. So as I mentioned, the sculpture will be situated at the corner of St. James and Clarendon Street. The sculpture is looking to really activate this corner and provide some public seating and amenity in an area that is, quite, open and is welcoming to the public. We're hoping that it kind of will improve that public realm and start to add a little bit of warmth with this, the nod of the teak bench of Boston College, the bronze of the sculpture, and some soft glow of the lighting to really start to activate this really popular corner. Next slide. So this is really some views, as you can see, the benches are positioned in a way to really engage with the geometry of the corner, as well as start to place itself along the strong presence of the existing benches. The property is owned by BXP, or Boston Properties, and they manage it, and they're in full support. We've had some great collaboration and meetings with them so far about, installation, pulling for the lighting, as well as the detail for anchoring these benches. And then the recognition of the plaques around.
Honor, if I could just say one thing too, and it's important for the commissioners. At the onset of starting this process, we're keenly aware of the significance of the Hancock and the site. We reached over to the pastor of the Trinity Church next door, who, from the Small World Department, was a big fan, friend, supporter of Jack Connors, and subsequently a supporter of this effort. We've also talked a lot with Meg Miser Cohen in the Back Bay Association, who's also been very, very supportive. So we've done community outreach with the butters and everybody. It's a tribute to Jack. That everybody has been very, very supportive of this effort. So I'd be remiss not to mention that. And BXP has been an incredible partner, and they were thrilled to have this opportunity to recognize and pay tribute to Jack in the courtyard of the Hancock. Sorry to interrupt on you, but I was remiss in not mentioning that in my opening remarks.
No, that's great. Thank you, Michael. Next slide. Yep. So one thing with the benches, is starting to kind of link the whole installation together and really provide this moment of honoring for Jack. And so each bench will feature a mix between wood and bronze, that being teak, and then the bronze to really add some a little bit more of a contemporary flair to the bench, as well as a nod back to the bronze sculpture. The back rest seat that you're sitting against will be engraved with different phrases, part of kind of, I guess, a little bit of a poem, but words, quotes from Jack. As you can see in the top left corner, the location of each one of those. So it will really tie the whole corner together as one kind of art installation. And then the final bench, the one that's kind of noted as one, that will have Connor's figure on it. So the statue will be placed there. And then inlaid flush into the existing stone planters will be an additional bronze plaque. That I think says on point one, but we have another view, I think on the next slide, that will just give a little bit more information for the installation. And again, as Michael alluded to, there's been great outreach and great support for this installation from the different entities in the area. Next slide. So I think, installation, I think we're still working this out as a team with both BXP and Pablo. But I think, towards the end of this year, early spring is really when we're targeting. Again, we're kind of ironing out those details right now and can keep the commission updated. But there is the plan to have a dedication and a little bit of a groundbreaking or a ceremony at that start, which would be open to the public. Next slide. Again, this is just a little bit of a look at the details, the way that each bench has inscriptions, and then you can see in the bottom right hand corner both a section through that and how it relates to the existing plaza and planters, as well as the inlaid plaque that would be replacing one of the existing stone pavers. You can go to the next slide. And again, this is really just the installation. And so we did meet last week with Disabilities Commission and went really well. And then a little bit more about kind of the installation. We're in close communication right now with BXP about a Saturday installation, either 1 or 2 Saturdays, mainly for some utility work to make sure that there's electrical, for some in-ground lighting that will be proposed to help illuminate and provide a soft glow for the benches. As well as just an installation of the benches, which will be performed by Pablo himself. And then I think the last slide is really just talking a little bit about maintenance. Next slide. Yep. So just annual care, again, these will be, the benches will need to be oiled, and all the bronze pieces will need to be waxed. BXP will be maintaining the sculpture. And so I think generally, there's great support to make sure that this has, it's a forever sculpture. And so they have a vested interest to make sure that it's maintained throughout the year. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you guys.
I now open it up to any commissioners with questions or comments. Oh, go ahead.
Do you mind if I ask a question?
Oh, yeah, please. Ian.
Thanks. Thanks for that presentation. Just a quick question. Where these quotes, they're very inspirational. I'm just wondering where exactly they were sourced from.
His family. his wife and children, and these were things, words that he said, but more importantly, words that he lived by. And if you knew Jack, that's just, he was a man for others, and these were the important guiding words of his life. So, talking to his family, this is how they chose to have him remembered, which I think is very fitting.
Thank you. Thanks.
I just wanted to ask briefly, last week you shared that, or rather you shared that last week you met with the Disabilities Commission. I'm curious if in those conversations there were any adjustments or changes to the plan as you presented it to them.
As of right now, no adjustments. I think there might be a little bit of follow-up. I think just concerns about the potential for the bronze inlaid to maybe be a slipping or a tripping hazard. And then they did want a little bit of follow-up with the lighting, or just mostly insurance that it would be a flush condition, which both the inlaid bronze plaque as well as the lighting will all be a flush condition. But other than that, I think no major concerns or comments from them.
That's great. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other commissioner comments, questions?
I would just like to say there was a very informative presentation, and I look forward to seeing this installed.
We do too. We do too. Thank you very much.
Well, with that, I'm curious if any members of the public would like to make a comment or ask a question. Well, because there is no vote, I won't ask for a motion. I did just briefly before we leave, I do want to make sure that BPX is planning to maintain the sculpture over the course of its lifespan. I realize that you had mentioned that this was possible, but given the maintenance plan that you have listed here, I just want to make sure that we're clear that BPX is going to take, or rather BXP is going to take responsibility for the maintenance of the sculpture.
Yeah, we will get an agreement in place. There's an alignment of interest in making sure that this is well cared for. Very precious to us personally, but also to the Hancock building and the owners of the Hancock building. So Boston Properties has been a great partner, and will memorialize that commitment that they'll maintain the statue will be made. This memorial will be maintained in perpetuity.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Please, I totally understand, and your staff has done a great job of stressing the importance of that to us. So that's something to take seriously.
John, I'd like to ask a question.
Sure, go ahead, Napoleon.
Along the line of your agreement for maintenance and care of the sculpture, is there any element in there that deals with the change of ownership of the property? Does that?
Yeah, we would make sure. That's a great point, Aaron. We'd make sure that it's assignable to whomever. Think ownership changes. We all know that in Boston, and we'd make sure that whoever, we hope BP owns it forever, but if there is another owner, that they'd be responsible for the maintenance and the care of this memorial.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thanks so much. And yeah, again, thank you for bringing this to the commission. It's a way to honor a very important legacy for the city of Boston. So we very much appreciate you bringing it to us and allowing us to ask some questions and make potential comments, both the commission and the public. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We appreciate it. Stay dry. Have a good night. And we'll see you at the dedication. We're really excited about it.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thank you, team.
Well, this week's meeting had a very short agenda. Normally we have 6, 7, sometimes 8 projects. So 2 is nice for today. Our last order of business is adjournment. I'm curious if any commissioner would like to make a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Thanks, Abigail. Do I have a second?
You do.
Thanks, James. Commissioners, after I say your name, please say yes If you agree to the adjournment, James,
Yes.
Ian,
Yes.
Napoleon,
Yes.
Caitlin,
Yes.
Abigail,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well. Thanks so much, new commissioners, for your first BAC meeting. Really appreciate it. And have a good evening, everyone, and stay dry.
Thank
See you
you.
next month.
You too.
Thank you. Bye.